Well, hey guys, I'm here with Vance Wilson, one of our coaches and instructors and former Major League Baseball players. So I want to talk about one of our C10 leadership values of a championship caliber player, discuss care. So Vance, when we talk about care, what are some first things that come to your mind and your heart when you think about that value of a championship caliber player?
I think the word care, which is one of my favorites, as you and I talked, was not only as a player but as a coach. The teams we've had, you look at them, you say, all right, like how are we going to overachieve?
Mm-hmm.
Our job as baseball players, our job as people, is always to overachieve. And you realize that if you care for the guy next to you, you may not like him, but you care for him. You respect what he has to do. You realize real quick you need him. That's one thing in this job we have in the life is you need people.
Yeah.
If I'm hitting fourth, I need the 3-hole hitter to get on.
Yeah.
I need to get on for the guy behind me so I can steal a base. We have to have stats to move up. And sometimes we get into a shell of ourselves, especially in today's climate with social media and all the things that make it about us.
Yeah.
We forget that we need to care about people. We need people in life to not only better ourselves, but to better them. And so, my first thought on it is how do we care for each other as a team?
Yeah.
And then what you find out is you get home, and I have a daughter and obviously a wife. You get home, you're like, maybe I'm not showing them as much as I'm showing my teammates. And when you can do that and you make it part of your routine, it becomes part of who you are. It becomes part of your DNA.
Yeah.
And what you find is you're an incredible teammate, and you play better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I like how you said, may not necessarily like everybody, because I think a misconception that we get when we talk about team and care and trust each other is that we have to like each other, even have an affinity, but reality is just not everybody likes everybody, but that's okay. We're actually talking about something that goes deeper than that, and one of the phrases that is up on the wall in all kinds of places in our organization is all of our success is tied together.
Yeah.
And I know that's one of the quotes that Dayton put up early on in his leadership here, but it seems like that's kind of what you're describing in the example of a 4-hole hitter needs the 3-hole and the 5-hitter.
Yeah.
There's a almost an interdependent nature of a team where I actually am I'm at a dependency upon you. You're at a little bit of a dependency upon me for my success and your success. So the more vision we can have of that together, the better we can be. Coached a long time, managed a long time. What are examples of that you've seen where guys just exhibit that? Or what is it like? What's it kind of look like to embrace that? How do guys kind of cultivate that as ball players?
It's one of those things where I'll use Hunter Dozier as an example. Everybody knows Hunter. He's an incredible leader, incredible person. He first got to Double-A. He makes an error, makes another error. We got to take the pitcher out of the game. And he beat everybody to the mound to tell the guy, that's my fault, man. I'm going to pick you up. And things like that mean that Hunter actually realizes that his mistakes affect that pitcher's outcome, whether it's a win, whether it's his ERA, whether it's pitches he had to throw, which now all of a sudden he can't throw the next day. And so I think when you watch true teams, true chemistry, and we always hear the word in the dugout, hey, we got to pick each other up. That ultimately is what it is. It's we have to pick each other up because if we care for each other. I heard a college football coach say it one time where he said, if he ever gets a team and he can tell everybody, sit them in a circle and say, if you look to the right and you tell the person I care about you, and you can look to the left and tell the person I need you, that's a team. Again, doesn't mean you like them. And again, to me, what that means and what you asked was, how do you cultivate that? How do you get that in a player? Is at what point does a player understand that I need these guys?
Yeah.
This career is not just about me. No player ever made it to the major league as a one-person team.
Yeah.
He was always part of a 25-man team. Now, not everyone makes it to the big leagues, but everybody can. And I think if people understand that, hey, like I need these guys, I need my teammates to be as good as they can, so I can have stats, so I can win championships, ultimately so we can all get to the big leagues and win championships, which is what we're here for.
Right. That's incredible. It's really good. A lot about relationships. Yesterday we were in a conversation where guys were just talking about how, hey, what you remember from your time playing, from your time experiencing, and really in all of life is relationships. We're relational as human beings. We're created by them and for them. And if we go all the way down to the end of the tunnel, man, when we look back, it's going to be, man, who did we love, who did we care about, and who loved and cared about us?
Yeah.
As far as the value of relationships, what are things that you see, maybe that you long to see guys doing more of, or that you've seen where, man, guys or stuff you used to do in order to really build that? Because in order to play for you, to compete for one another, care about you, I need to know you a little bit. I need to have some shared experiences with you. Could you talk a little bit about that element?
Yeah, so I always, the reason cliches are cliches is because they're true. And one of them that you hear a lot is, man, you know nothing about another man's story. You may think you do, and you may judge him from the outer appearance, but you know nothing about that man's story. And the interesting part is, you take a player A and you call him in your office and be like, hey, where are you from? And you go through the whole thing. Chester Cuthbert, one of our major league players, his dad was a lobster farmer. And being able to call Chess, learn, and talk about, man, you ate lobster? Like that's, that's what the rich people ate over here. Kind of joking with him, and you start realizing he's like, oh, I hate lobster. I ate too much of it. And now all of a sudden, Chester starts to get a little vulnerable, and you learn more things about him.
Yeah. That's
what teammates don't do. They'll judge a guy. They don't know his personality. They don't know what makes him tick. But if you learn a man's story, we had a player one time that when he got to the organization, he didn't throw hard. Yeah. And guys gave him a lot of stuff for it. They teased him, and he put a wall up. And now all of a sudden he moves up, and guys are like, man, he's a tough individual. And then you grab me like, well, let me tell you what he went through. Let me tell you why he's that way. And they're like, oh, wow. And I'm like, well, hey, we'll take care of that. And so I think the biggest thing, if our players can realize that if you can learn every person's story and what they're doing, and an example that I went through of that was I played in the Dominican. And even for myself, I kind of had a hard time at first. Why would a Latin player live the way he lives, do what he does? And when I played over there and saw where some of those guys came from, I learned their story real quick and was very compassionate, very sensitive to what they came from. Realizing that as a baseball player, if I got released, I'm going to be okay. I got a good family. I went to college. I can do some things. If a kid like that got released, and some of them where they come from, it's going to be tough. And so it really changed how I felt about those guys' stories, and even took it into, man, let me learn about a guy from Tennessee, or let me learn about a guy from California. Yeah. And to me, that's the biggest thing is learn their story. I wish our players did that more.
That's incredible, which involves being curious, asking questions, and then a pretty amazing art, but a difficult one is listening.
Yeah.
And actually listening to people and hearing what they have to say.
Absolutely.
But it cultivates that team and togetherness, which does make everybody more successful in the long run.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Great. Vance,
Awesome. Yeah,
thanks. Care. Appreciate it.